This is the Global Broadcasting Service, serving remote outposts since 1928.
Hi, everyone. Welcome aboard the Walt Disney World Express Monorail.
Caramba, we have something really big for you today.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Now then, hang on to them hats and glasses, because this here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
This is the DBC Pod with Phil Schoen and Jason Dodge. Hi, friends. Welcome to this week's pod. This is the show for the week of September 16th, 2024, plus a couple extra days. Yeah. This will be your short midweek show. We had some real-life stuff kind of pop in our way, which delayed our show for 2 days. But we're back. But this is going to be a little bit short because we don't want to kind of jump in on next week's show, which will have our normal DBC engagement and game after Drew the Disney Dude came on our show a week ago, which seems like forever ago because we recorded like a day early.
Right,
last time.
that's
so
true. It has been a little while.
So it feels like it's been a long time since our last both of us show, but here we are. Before we start, we want to welcome Eric F. to the Discord server. Thank you for joining in. And I've noticed that a couple of some of the other newer faces are chiming in some of the Discords, the trip planning and the DVC section. The new Polynesian points chart came out and people were kind of gabbing about that. We are not a DVC show, nor are we either DVC owners, so we'll leave that to better folks to kind of hash that out. But Phil, let's get right on to it now. You had a couple notes that you wanted to talk about this week, and so we're going to do a couple of like quick hitters, and then I'm going to go finally into some of my trip planning because I have 2 trips on my countdown list. So what did you want to talk about this week, Phil?
Yeah, so with the real world stuff, and I had a business trip, and so I haven't been, I think, as connected with everything going on in the Diz Twitter and all that sort of stuff. But one thing I did see that kind of jumped out at me is that there's a rumor that Universal is in active development for a replacement to Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure. So I know we're kind of a Disney heavy show. So if you haven't been to Universal Orlando or Islands of Adventure, they have one section that's been there since the park opened, which was their second park. It's called Superhero Island. It's got stuff going back to the old comics and stuff like that, but it's mostly Marvel characters and kind of the 2 big rides there. There's a few things. There's a Doctor Doom Freefall, and then there's the Hulk coaster, and then the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, which is one of the highly thought of rides at Universal. It's like a really cool ride. But it's interesting that they're thinking about just replacing this whole area. They've been replacing just about every area over time at both of their original parks. Because the agreement they have with Marvel, because when they licensed they did this license with Marvel before Disney acquired it. And we know it's a complicated agreement or something, but it basically says Disney can't use any of the Marvel properties that are connected to the characters or teams of characters that are in use at Universal in Orlando. So that means they can't use the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, stuff like that.
Just the unpopular ones.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Which is why we have Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that and not much more at Walt Disney World. Right. But the agreement says they have to kind of keep it active and keep it up to a high enough level of what it was originally. So if they're getting rid of it, that means the rights would revert back to Disney, and now Disney could do more with Marvel at Walt Disney World. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Some of the reports are saying that even though they're licensing it, so that means if they make money off merchandise and stuff like that, that goes to Disney, which they kind of don't really like. So they might just be at some point saying, look, we're not going to keep this going. This is no longer a property we own. I'm sure there'll be some sort of handshake deal in the background where Disney gives them some money or exchanges a different property or something.
Sure.
But it'd be interesting. There's different nobody knows for sure what would go in there. There is rumors that they're going to put a Pokemon land somewhere.
That would make sense.
It could be this. That also is a rumor to go into Springfield, where The Simpsons is, which is another property that Disney now owns that they might get rid of.
Well, you got to think, right? So like they might be following the Harry Potter method, I guess, if you want to call it, where Harry Potter's just not one park, it's all the parks. So the only place that Nintendo is going to be here is in Epic Universe, so that we know of,
right? And
if they're updating some of these parks, maybe they put Nintendo everywhere. We give the people, you want to buy a multi-day ticket, you want to buy a multi-park ticket, so you can visit all of these things. So that would certainly be a draw.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Another Nintendo one that's been rumored is Zelda, although that's supposed to go in the Lost Continent area, but who knows? But anyway, I thought that was interesting to hear, partly for that, because it seems like they're going to continue to update the existing parks because, like you said, they need to draw people that they're not just going to Epic Universe once that opens, that there's a reason for visiting the other parks. And then also what it would mean for Disney and what would we want to see Disney do at Walt Disney World if they could put more Marvel in there.
So a couple things. One, I've never been to Universal, so I'm not familiar with this part of the park, but I've done a lot of seen all the videos and the walkthroughs of like Google Maps and kind of check things out. This part of the park is very unattractive, I thought. I mean, everything's like basically like cardboard cutouts all over the place. The rides get extremely great reviews, so it kind of makes me wonder why would they spend all the money to retheme those attractions that are highly touted. But it would make sense for properties they know that they could advance, like all the Nintendo type of stuff. I think because Disney hasn't introduced the X-Men and the classic Avengers are kind of like gone now, so there's going to be a new group of Avengers. Maybe that won't be as a popular draw to that section of the park. I mean, I think Hulk and Spider-Man are perpetually popular, but like all the rest of the lands, maybe they're looking to do something there. As far as Disney World in the MCU, how would you want to do it? I kind of view it in the same way I do Star Wars in the parks, right? Because the Marvel, or at least the MCU, is more character driven than it is like setting driven, because the setting is all over the place, right? You have Asgard, you have space, you have the battle of Endgame, you've got various planets that they've visited, spaceships, you've got New York City. I mean, like, there's like, what do? Do you build like a cityscape and have Spider-Man swinging through? Do you have like an open field, and that's like represents the last battle in Endgame, where you have these portals opening and stuff like that? So, I mean, I guess that's why you have Avengers Campus, because it's like, this is where the Avengers live, but it's also kind of lame, in my opinion, right? It doesn't really invoke like epicness that the MCU kind of does. So I don't know. I honestly, I wouldn't know how to do it. I guess it only fits in Hollywood Studios. I don't think they would ever put it in Magic Kingdom or Animal Kingdom, even though people are like, put Wakanda in there because it's Africa, and I don't understand. But like, I don't know. Like, I could see, one building. Like, I could see like a mishmash of things, like the the setting in Loki. Why am I completely drawing a blank?
Asgard?
No. In the latest thing.
TVA?
The TVA, excuse me. Yeah. Thank you. Yes. Like a TVA setting, and have a ride with that. And then across the street is, I don't know, Wakanda. And another part is, like little modules, kind of like a Fantasyland type of build, rather than like Galaxy's Edge, where it's all one space.
Right.
Type of thing. I think it would be cool. I don't know how much of a draw it would be. I don't know what trajectory the MCU is going in right now. I mean, maybe by the time it's done and they get it, maybe it's popular again. And that's because it's like 12 years from now or something like that. I don't know. How about you?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that made me think of this, because I know I mentioned before that Disney hasn't said where Monstropolis is going in Hollywood Studios. And I think it might be because they don't know yet. And I'm wondering if something like this is hanging over. They're saying, hey, if we can get the Marvel rights, then maybe we want to use that animation courtyard for something bigger than Monstropolis. We want to use Marvel there. And I think that'd be great to see that. The idea I had,
I don't really think they would do that at this point. I think that's like beyond, because I think whatever goes in animation courtyard, they want to save one of those spaces for Zootopia, because for some reason they're itching to bring Zootopia to Disney World, or if Incredibles takes off, I think they really want to take advantage of that. I think if there's anything Marvel, it comes after that.
Yeah,
whatever it might be. Well, what was your other day? I'm sorry.
My thought though, which could make some people happy, was if you did the streets of New York, basically bring that back to Hollywood Studios that used to be there, but the Marvel version of it. So you could have the Sanctum Sanctorum and
that's a good idea.
The Daily Planet and the Stark Tower and all that sort of stuff. So you can have kind of those as anchor points, and then obviously the rides are inside, and you could do portals and stuff like that. But then the other thing I thought was, then if they have the streets in New York, they could bring back the Osborne family lights at Christmas time.
Sure.
And you could even tie it in because there's Norman Osborn.
See, look, you're really thought this one over. I applaud. Your ideas are much better than mine.
So I don't know. I thought that could be a good way to kind of make some people happy that are sad that went away, and then bring in Marvel. And I don't know. I think it could be fun. And like I said, that would be a bigger plot they would want to use for that. And then they say, okay, well, that's going to be the second part of our Disney decade or whatever. Monstropolis will just go in where Muppets is, because we don't need a whole big thing for that.
That's easy, right?
I don't know. We'll see. I just think it's I don't know, this whole the whole agreement and everything I find fascinating and confusing, and everyone seems to get it wrong and nobody really knows the details of it. But we know that as long as it's there, Disney can't use it. But if they're thinking about getting rid of it, it kind of puts it back in play. So it'd be
I always thought with like the Hulu type of thing that they would like tuck in the Marvel rights into this, and Disney pays like an extra, it's a negotiating point. Like Disney pays an extra $5 billion and they get this, whatever. I mean, you got to think like this rumor, right? But then you also have the Simpsons licensing kind of going away soon as well. So there's a lot of change for Universal. I'll be curious to see the direction, because I have no interest of going there. I have interest in riding the attractions because they're really, really fun. But like walking around doesn't seem like an enjoyable, or it's basically like any other theme park, I guess.
Yeah, there's some
Disney
pockets that are really interesting and really nice, and like obviously the Harry Potter and some of the Lost Continent stuff. But other parts aren't as good. So I mean, it makes more sense. Like you said, this is not the nicest area. It's kind of looks dated and stuff like that. So I'm sure the creative people over there would love to do something more immersive in that part of the park.
I think so too. The next thing no one knows this, but I tried doing a solo show on Monday all by myself, and it came off just kind of rapid fire news stuff. So I've got like 4 points that I want to kind of go over with everybody. It's worth bringing to your attention to keep an eye out for before we go to my trip report, or not trip report, trip planning report, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So one of the things that kind of caught me off guard, I had no idea what was happening, was somebody took pictures. They basically demoed the seating area for Woody's Lunchbox. If you didn't know, this is like a little to-go stand kind of thing, right across from the entrance of Slinky Dog Dash, right by the entrance to whatchamacallit,
Toy Story Mania.
Toy Story Mania. I was going to say Space Ranger Spin, but that's the wrong park. So like basically it was back there. The whole thing is demoed. It's down to the earth, and everybody's been complaining about shade and places to sit in that section. So hopefully we'll get like a Harambe Market like edition that we got a couple of months ago. I think that would really look nice. So that's kind of something to keep your eyes out for, just because we always like when there's construction in the parks and new things happen. So something to look forward to. I'm not stopping here, Phil, because I don't know if there's anything to really comment about that.
The only thing I'd ask, Ed, is we knew they were building something kind of next to it, which we thought was going to be additional seating, because even the seating they had there was not sufficient for how crowded it can get. So we kind of knew they were doing something, but I don't know if anybody knew they were actually going to. We thought that was just going to be added onto it, and then they open it up, and
they're
there's extra
redoing
seating.
a lot of stuff.
But now they're like totally bringing that down. So hopefully they're going to combine it all, and like you said, add more shade. That was always a problem. There only a couple tables had umbrellas and stuff like that. So hopefully they're redoing that. Yeah, other construction project. I know you didn't put it in here, but I thought they've been redoing the walkway in Adventureland.
Yeah,
to look kind of Pandora-ish, I guess, for lack of a better word, but just much more themed. And I think we've talked about this in the past, but just like these nice little plussing that they're doing to different areas is nice to see. It kind of feels like getting back. We've talked about it before, but they're kind of catching up, and they're kind of moving and advancing some things too, so that they don't there's no extra money coming in because they redid this. This is something an extra cost they're doing just to make the experience better.
Now this just popped in my head, and I'm basing this off of absolutely nothing, but all these little pluses before the pandemic, when we're talking about the 50th celebration, all these are the little things I would expect to be at the park for the 50th, right? They redo like all the cement areas, and it's like a new ground in Frontierland or whatever it is, right? Adventureland. So I really like catching up on all these little things, because the park's been so long without like just some of these pluses. Like, I guess the only other thing that they've done other than building new lands would be like the changes that the bad changes that they've done in Tomorrowland is they kind of strip one kind of like styling for another, and it's the whole mess that's over there. So it's nice to see this for sure.
Yep.
One of the things that was kind of going across the internet briefly was at Disneyland in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. They had a stunt show at the end of the day, and this is for a Make-A-Wish Foundation, so it was done for charity. So this is not like ongoing. This is a one-time thing. But apparently it was pretty great. A lot of people were raving about it, that I got a chance to see it. And there's videos out there. I think Touring Plans, their YouTube channel, has a video up for it if you want to go check it out. But if you don't have time, it was basically like if you've ever seen some of the acts from the Star Cruiser where Kylo Ren and Rey kind of face off each other on a balcony in the main lobby there. It was very similar to that. It had Kylo Ren, it had Rey, it had some other Imperial actors, that type of thing. So a lot of back and forth, a lot of cool stunts and sounds and lightings and stuff like that. Now, my question for you, Phil, is this something that should be at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on a nightly basis? Because I, for one, think this would be great to kind of like finish the day at like 7:30 every single day, do something like this.
Yeah. No, I think it would be great. And they already have kind of those actors involved anyway. So just doing a little timed thing, like you said, to set off the night at a certain time would be really cool. Like, makes me think almost at like Cars Land, where everyone waits for that time of day when they turn the lights on for the evening stuff, like almost like that type of thing where everyone's kind of waiting for this to start. They do seem to do more out at Disneyland. I know they have, I don't know if it's every night, but they do the Fire of the Rising Moons fireworks show that they do in Galaxy's Edge there. And they just announced they're actually having a dining package thing at Docking Bay 7 where you get reserved viewing and stuff like that. So they seem to do more out there for that, but I think it would be really cool if they did something every night that kind of was like a special thing, or even in the morning or something like that. But yeah, you're right. It seems like something, I think it felt like what they did at the Star Cruiser, the final battle that took place there. So they're kind of pulling from stuff like that. But yeah, bring some of that over and give people a reason there. And then if they need to sell something to give reserve viewing for it so they get their money back, then so be it. But
you got to remember, like before Galaxy's Edge opened at Hollywood Studios, they would have like a platoon of stormtroopers with Captain Phasma march up, and like everything would stop. And all the way up Hollywood Boulevard to the Chinese Theater, they would have this whole show. It would happen like 2 or 3 times during the day. And they would have Darth Vader would be out there sometimes as like a separate show. And they bring out these characters. There's nothing at Hollywood Studios in the day anymore, unless you catch like a cavalcade. And I think they pretty much stopped a lot of that recently. But like, there's budget for this. I mean, like, it's not like, it's just one more thing. Like, they took away all the daytime streetmosphere in Hollywood Studios, so they could easily add one show at like 7:30. It's kind of like the stage show at the Magic Kingdom. Why can't they? I mean, I don't know. To me, it's just frustrating. You've got all these different. They could do like an Indiana Jones kind of spectacle where it comes out of the theater a little bit at certain times during the day. They got the Star Wars stuff they could do certain times of the day. They should be doing Toy Story stuff like throughout the day type of thing where, you start, and then whatever Monsters Inc. comes and whatever comes in after that, they should have it so where each of the lands, that IP like leaks into the park proper and puts on a show and then kind of recedes back into Toy Story Land. I think that would be very cool. Making the park a little bit more dynamic and force you to want to stay at the park rather than like hit and run rides like a lot of people seem to do with either stacking or the way the multipass happens now. So anyway, more live entertainment. There's no rumors or any guesswork that this is actually coming to Disney World. We're just like saying, we're just begging, we're just putting the idea into the ether.
I mean, and even from Disney, it seems like the word was next year is going to be the year of entertainment and stuff like that. So this could be, like you said, another little thing to try to draw people in, something new. I mean, maybe not this specifically, but these types of things would, like you said, get people to stay in the parks.
We don't have there was one entertainment announcement for next year, and that's the new nighttime parade at Magic Kingdom.
There's the nighttime parade. There's the new villain show. That's what Hollywood Studios. Yep. There's the Zootopia show at
I wouldn't consider those entertainment ads, right? Yeah. Like I consider like a parade an ad or something. Nothing in a show building, I should say. Yeah. Right. So just like not spontaneous, but scheduled entertainment, like parades, shows, like, streetmosphere type of stuff.
Yeah.
I was expecting more type of things.
Yeah. The only big thing like that they've really announced is the parade. Yeah.
Yeah. So I expect there to be more. I'm just saying, I think for next year, we hope. Two other like construction-y type of things. So these are all permit related. So keep your eye out in the space for where Reflections used to go, which was right down the road from, or right down the shore from Wilderness Lodge. There's a permitted crane for a 244-foot crane to go onto that site. And you don't use a 244-foot crane to kind of put up some cabins along the water. You use that for major construction. The only question is, and I don't think we need to get into it now, is are they just doing Reflections again, or are they going to try something new because it wasn't really received very well? So hopefully maybe they kind of adjust their thinking along the lines. But new DVC resort, and we won't know anything in probably till next year anyway, because they're not going to, step on the toes of the new Poly Tower.
They're definitely not going to release any specifics about it. Apparently the permit starts in October, so there could be some work pretty soon, and I think it goes through next August. So that would be when the whatever it was would be topped off. We'll see. Yeah. One thought I had was I didn't know if they might try to tie this into the vibe they're going for with the Cars Land in Frontierland, where it's more like kind of Pacific Northwest, but Colorado state park-ish and stuff like that, more than
maybe
like a little bit more adventure-ish versus like Reflections, which felt like
a
retirement center type thing.
Maybe, but I don't think they could. I don't think the DVC business unit and the Parks Ops talk to each other to plan stuff like this out. So I would say no to that. Would be nice. If they start construction sometime next year, DVC towers go up pretty quickly, like 2 years or so. And in 2 years, that's when the new Tropical Americas is opening in Cars Land. So I think this would be open probably a year or two before the Cars area would probably be open. If I had to guess, if I had to put money on it. One last thing is we talked about the rumor about Big Thunder Mountain being closed and retracked. We never saw any evidence of that. And I just want to mention that there was a permit with a project named Big Thunder Mountain Railroad Refurbishment that takes up about 4.9 acres. And if you surround Big Thunder Mountain on Google Maps, it's about 3.1 acres. And there's some trees and grassy area next to it that's another 0.8 acres. So they're probably going to have some place where they do some staging and stuff like that. So anything that's happening at that side of the Magic Kingdom, I think the first things first, you got to take a look at where those laydown yards are going to go. And once that gets starting to get flattened and staged, I think it's the first domino for everything else. So I think they're just getting ready for this. But just, I guess, actually not official, but documented evidence that this is actually not a rumor. It's actually a thing that's going to happen. So I want to bring that up.
And I guess speaking of permits, maybe we'll just mention it, that there was also the report that the permit Disney filed for the waterways related to Beyond Big Thunder and stuff like that had gotten returned to them, rejected, whatever you want to say, by the state. But it basically just outlined areas they want more information on. There was something, whenever you're draining this much water, they want to know, well, what happens when there's heavy rains? There's no longer this body of water. How do things work and stuff like that? So I don't think it's anything too out of the norm. It seemed like they had quite a few things for Disney to do, maybe more than sometimes, but it's definitely just, we need these answers. You have 90 days to do it, and then things should move forward. So,
I mean, I know Block Mickey, WDWNT, and some other sources like Big Snag, Red Tape, and all these kind of clickbaity titles. As somebody that does permitting from time to time, construction permitting, and seeing what others are saying that have experience in this generally, this is perfectly normal. Typically, when you submit plans to the state returns a bunch of questions. Disney knows what those questions are going to be, and I would be willing to bet that they have a vast majority of these questions already answered and ready to be submitted. When they say you have 90 days to comply, that's normal government speak for like, here's your time, that please bring back something back. And it's not as like urgent or crazy as some people might want to make it out to be. Governments and permitting is very abrupt, very brutal language. They're not trying to be polite to each other. It's a document. This is what you need. Please return this in 90 days. There's no feelings or anything else like that. So I think people read too much into this type of stuff. If there's a delay in this, we have 90 days to figure out how serious this is, I guess. If they don't have a response after 90 days, it's a pretty hefty thing. Anything you want to add on the news end of things? It's very shallow news cycle.
I think that's another reason why we didn't rush a show this week. That didn't seem like there was that much news. I even saw some other places reporting like this seems like a slow news thing. We do know Disney's fiscal year starts October 1st, which is only a couple weeks away at this point. So hopefully we'll
2
start
weeks?
seeing shovels in the ground once we get to the new fiscal year for tropical Americas or wherever. So hopefully things start moving forward.
They're getting
once we get
ready.
to that. Yeah,
Things are imminent. That being said, so new things in my side. One of the reasons why I did not put out my solo show was because I really wanted to talk to Phil about my upcoming trips. And yes, that's right. It's multiple trips. I've mentioned both of them on the show. It seems like forever since I've booked at least the first one. So I'll go over my family trip.
Okay.
So originally we had planned, or we were talking about going in May. If you recall from previous shows, my wife did not want to go in December anymore, right before Christmas, because it was too hectic with the holidays. Didn't want to take the kids out of school, et cetera, especially with the daughter just starting middle school. They take absences a little bit more seriously in middle school than they do elementary school. So we were thinking about, okay, not December, but May. It's closer to the end of the school year anyway, and you're not missing as much at that point, but it was tentative. But as we were getting closer, my wife's new work schedule was a little bit rough, and et cetera, et cetera. So, all right, we have to go down during the summer, right? We really wanted to try the spring, different time of year, but that didn't happen. And now we're going in July. So it's like right after my kids are out of their swimming season, and it's the end of July. I think my wife forgets how hot it is in Florida in the summer. So I kind of warned her on that. I know it's been 3 years, or last time we went in the summer was 2019, so it's been a while. But anyway, the new thing is, so my mother's coming along with us because she hasn't come with us since 2019. And in 2019, we were a family of 5.5. Well, my daughter was 1, so she didn't count, so we were able to all squeeze inside of a 5th sleeper. That is no longer the case. So we did the economics behind everything. So the cabins were actually rather inexpensive. They were about $100 cheaper than the Art of Animation family suites. But you have the caveat that you have to walk everywhere. Transportation's not as great. And if you're doing a park-centric vacation, which is what we wanted to do, they're not the best option. The campgrounds are very good if you just want to chill and occasionally go to the parks, that type of thing, at least in my opinion. So, and then the other options was 2 rooms or the Art of Animation suite. So, Phil, what we chose to do was the Art of Animation. So we booked that. We booked the Cars family suite section, which is if the entry to the resort is it's at 6 o'clock hour. The Nemo suites are basically from like 6 o'clock to the middle of the clock being the center of Hourglass Lake where the Skyliner is. The Cars section is to the right, and the Little Mermaid section is to the left of that.
Yep.
So all in, we're doing 8 days hopper passes.
Wow.
8 nights, 9 days. So 7 days hopper, excuse me. Not one. We're doing one of each day. And we are going to go and start, and I've said this before, we're going to do like the bingo style trip where we're planning the next day, the night before, to have keep it a little light and fun. And we're going down. It was probably the same price, if not a little bit cheaper than 2 rooms. And as much as I would have liked to have 2 rooms with extra privacy, that sort of thing, I didn't want to risk having 2 rooms that were adjacent but not adjoined, or like another room that's like 3 doors down, especially with the kids and grandma and stuff like that. So Art of Animation, here we come, July of 2025. And Phil, I'm going to echo your FOMO concerns, right? So why do you think I'm happy to go in the summer this time versus May? If you had to take a guess.
Because of the new nighttime parade and the things that they've announced that are coming
Ding,
by
ding,
summertime.
ding. Yes. Yeah. So we were going in May where there was a chance that might be opening the week or 2 before Memorial Day, but there's probably
pretty much
not.
everything they've been using summer, whether it's that or the Zootopia show or whatever they've been kind of using summer time frame, right?
Yeah, the Zootopia is coming in the winter, so that's probably going to be December of 2025, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But we'll be able to see the new
the villain show. That's what I was thinking of.
The villain show, yes, that's what I was trying to remember. The villain show, the new parade, any of the entertainment that they're debuting next year. And then if the drones come back, they'll be coming back for the summer. They wouldn't be coming back for like the spring, right. I'm assuming. I'm assuming that drone show is coming back next summer because it was a pretty big hit from Disney, I think, and all the vendors
I've heard
liked all those
somebody over at WDW Magic was posting that he doesn't think it's coming back, that it was just an operational nightmare and stuff. So
really,
but I guess we'll
Sad
see.
times.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe something will come back because it did seem to add with the crowds and stuff, but maybe they'll do something different or whatever. But
You got to think that all those business owners are screaming at Disney, please do something again to draw all those crowds. And then if Disney does any kind of nighttime show, that's just a kind of a bonus for us. So it's going to be a typical vacation. We decided because we're doing it in the summer, we can go an extra 2 days, so we're not bumping up against school weekends and taking more time off of school. So we're able to do that. I'm very excited. It'll be a year and a half basically since our last family trip. So even though we have to wait another 2.5 months, I think this is going to be a good one. So no plans other than the dates and where we're staying. And it's quite expensive. I'm looking forward to seeing what the discounts are, because we're basically paying all rack rate at this point, because discounts for next summer aren't out yet. Would be nice if they continued that free hopper thing. That would save me like $400. That'd be nice.
I'm sure they'll do something. So.
I can't imagine if they do something but it's not for Art of Animation. I might swap to like 2 hotel rooms if that's not like a 30% or 20% discount type of thing. So looking forward to that. But I have another trip that's coming up in 44 days. I would check my phone, but my phone is my camera right now. It's going to be another adult-only trip. And again, this one's my wife's idea, which constantly surprises me that my wife, allows us to go down without the kids and want to spend the money on Disney rather than something else. We're the type of couple that the idea of going to like a bed and breakfast or a relaxing weekend somewhere where there's like not a lot going on, and it's just kind of like a hiking trip or something else like that, we can't do that because we end up just kind of just sitting around like we have nothing to do, or we need constant constant attractions. That's why we like Disney World, right? Because even though as we complain about like the hectic pace and all this other stuff, we like waking up to do and having some sort of itinerary to go do fun things. So that being said, we're booking. We have booked 4 nights, the 1st through the 5th. So first, second, third, fourth. Yes, 4 nights at Animal Kingdom Lodge. Nice. First time or second time at Deluxe. First time at a newer one because our last one was Old Key West. So I'm very excited to go to the Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm following in your footsteps. And the funny thing is, I found out as soon as I booked it that we'll be at Animal Kingdom Lodge the same time as our friend Matt and his family is going to be down there. So
now I'll have FOMO.
Yes, there you go. I'm sure Matt and I are going to be sneaking out of our hotel rooms as people are sleeping, grabbing a beer somewhere or something else like that. So that'll be fun. I think our trip overlaps for like 2 days or something else like that. So
nice.
He's going for that rest of that week. So what do you do as an adult trip where you don't want to go? We're getting hoppers, by the way, right? I don't want to feel like making decisions on what parks to go to. So we're getting hoppers. And my wife originally wanted to be like, if we go down for like 3 full days, not counting travel days, I want to have like just relax. We want to go to the spa, that sort of thing. But then I asked her, okay, what do you really want to do? Because you go to the spa, that's like a nice hour. Maybe spend 2 hours at the pool. But what do we do for the rest of the day when we don't have like a park ticket to go to? So she relented to be like, yeah, that makes sense. So we started booking dining, and this is going to be a big dining trip, I think.
Okay.
So we have a 7:30 flight. So we get down there around 10 o'clock or so. Hopefully everything goes well. And we booked lunch at Steakhouse 71, which I'm really looking forward to. We had a really amazing experience there on our last adult trip in 22, where she'd like the dish you recommended, as a mushroom Wellington, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, vegetable Wellington,
Vegetable Wellington, which was quite good. I had the hamburger there, which was absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go over there and kind of then meander around and kind of visit some certain things and that type of thing. My wife wanted to try Storybook Dining at Artist Point, but the only reservations left right now are 8:30 and later, which is a no-go for us. Which really surprises me because I'm looking around at some other places. There's full on options, but that one is specifically hard to get.
I remember when we booked it, it was the hardest one to get to. I think because it's popular, it's obviously characters, and it's only dinner, so it's just limited kind of windows when it's available.
So I'm going to keep checking on that and see what we can do. But then, I told my wife, I want to do Oga's. I've booked and scheduled Oga's for our last 3 trips, and I've canceled all 3 of them. We are not doing it again. So we're going to hop over to Hollywood Studios and do that. And then out of nowhere, and again, this completely shocked me. Guess where my wife wants to dine that evening? I know I'm saying it's at a park.
Oh,
Right?
it's at a park. Okay.
It's at a park. Where do you think she wants to try?
Via Napoli.
Nope, but it's at Hollywood Studios.
Okay. So Brown Derby. Oh
She
no,
wants to do-
Roundup, Rodeo Roundup.
Nope,
Oh.
which would be shocking because she doesn't eat meat.
Right. That's why I thought it was shocking.
She wants to do the sci-fi dining.
the dine-in, yeah.
And I'm like, really? I mean, like, I never had a strong pull to it. I think it's really cool. I've heard good things about it. I would think to do it with the kids because it's more of like a fun thing, but she wants to do that. I'm like, I'm down for that. That sounds really awesome. I've never done that before. We can check that one off. So we're doing that while we're at Hollywood Studios. And then we kind of took a break from planning because it was getting late and we haven't booked everything else. But like 1900 Park Fair is something that we might be interested in. And I checked reservations for that for today. And that was kind of wide open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or breakfast and dinner, I guess. And I'm really, I can't think of any other places that we both want to go, but we're going to be exploring some dining and we're going to let the dining kind of take us where we want to go. Right. I think one of the things, for example, like the first day there, we're going to go to Magic Kingdom first thing in the morning, maybe get some pictures, but all we want to do is just like, maybe go on Pirates, maybe go on Tiana's because it's new or whatever. But we want to go to the bakery, get coffee and like a scone or something and just go sit at a table somewhere and like hang out and have breakfast and then leave and go do something else. So I think we're going to experiment with the laissez-faire park touring because we're going again in July. We were there less than a year ago at this point. Why are we trying to just bounce all over the place? We're not getting Genie Plus. We're not going to let that dictate our day. I'm going to attempt to like just what kind of park do you want to go to? Do you not want to go to a park? That type of thing. So I think this is a dry run for our vacation next year. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
No, it sounds good. I know when my wife and I went for our adults only, it was definitely food driven, whether it was, dining reservations or just lounges and bars we wanted to check out and stuff like that. So that makes a lot of sense. And even just that Animal Kingdom Lodge, obviously there's a lot of good dining there and stuff like that. So.
But the funny thing is, like, I really wanted to try Chico because I've never been before. And we watched the Mammoth Club. Was it Alan and Molly? They did like a whole Animal Kingdom Lodge, like hour-long video where they ate at all the restaurants, did all this stuff. And we were watching it. She had no interest of going to Chico because she's like, there's a lot of just basically like fish options for her. And she wasn't very happy with that. So I'm like, next time we'll go down there and try it out. But there's some really cool lounges and stuff like that.
Yep.
We saw that we're definitely going to check out. I'm trying to figure out because I really want to do Nomad Lounge or Tiffin's at some point because I've never eaten there, but I don't know how we can get over to Animal Kingdom to do that at night without having to like bounce from somewhere else. Because if we're going to go to Animal Kingdom, we'll go there first thing in the morning,
right,
and then bounce somewhere else.
I mean, you could do like we did, lunch and that sort of thing.
Yep, but my wife also doesn't want to be like, okay, we're going to do this, then we got to rush over here, and then where we're going to go next. We want to like kind of go with the flow a little bit, and that's kind of awkward to get to, especially since there's really no easy way between the hotel and the park, right? If that was easier, that's definitely on there. And then again, this is a trip for you for special things. I checked all the special tours; they're all sold out.
Yeah,
all sold out
to go.
And I was like, I was at like the 49-day mark, and I'm like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah.
And sold out. The only thing was behind the scenes tour, and Cindy didn't want to do that. So, but no, I'm super excited. It's going to be 3 full days. We're flying down. We're not driving, so I'm very happy about that. The only thing I have a concern about is the day we come back is the election day. We're also voting by mail, so we don't have to rush home for that. But our flight's at 8:00. So, and the Monday before we leave is extra evening hours at Epcot. That we're definitely going to take advantage of because I don't know the next time I'm going to be at a deluxe resort to have access to it. So I definitely want to check that out, at least experience it. So we're going to get like 4 hours of sleep and hopefully election day doesn't cause any other disturbances and whatnot.
Maybe it's best you get home and just sleep through it all.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Just like, everybody just go to bed. Thank you. Have a good day. But yeah, I'm excited. This is going to be the first kind of Disney vacation where I go down. I don't have an agenda Because I think last time as an adult, I was like, we're doing 4 parks in one day. And then this
I
day we're going to
remember
do
that,
this park.
yeah.
Because we had to make reservations back then,
Yeah.
right? So this time, I'm really curious to see. I don't want to see my only fear is I might overbook the dining, and by like the day 3, like, do we really want to eat here type of thing?
Yeah.
So I want to get the reservations in just in case. Maybe we get over to Topolino's or something else like that. I don't know. So we'll see. We got to make our. I think the only thing that we need to do is figure out food and get the reservations in just in case, and then figure out what we're doing in the evening as far as nighttime spectaculars.
Mm-hmm.
Are we want to hit up each one of the parks and see all of them? Do we only want to see Fantasmic because we haven't seen it in 2 years because we skipped Hollywood Studios last time? Do we again? We'll probably see Luminous because we'll be in Epcot anyway because at closing time. I'd like to see Happily Ever After, but my wife doesn't like crowds, and I'm not going to force it.
Yep.
So I don't know. It's going to be an interesting. I'm like a little nervous because I don't have an actionable plan other than just. I'm like, well, those other people. We just kind of go down 4 times a year and just kind of relax and kind of do this and whatever. And I'm like, all right, I guess I could be one of those people for once.
Yeah, it's
right?
good to have, and I'm sure you'll think about it between now and then, but just like different options or something like that, because otherwise it's going to be so easy to just fall into the routine of like going on rides and stuff like that. But if you be like, hey, let's do this is different, or like you said, like maybe leave the park and watch Happily Ever After from outside the park, or like have like kind of like, hey, would you want to do A, B, or C or something like that, just to kind of have some of those ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna let food dictate it. Things. My wife wants to see. She loves the Grand Floridian. She's very Victorian and stuff like that. She likes that type of stuff. So she wants to see some of those places. So that's why 1900 Park Fair kind of stood out to her a little bit because she wants to see that type. Not that we want to do the character dining, but I guess that's just one of the things.
I mean, there's a ton of restaurants there. I mean, even just the Grand Floridian Cafe is pretty nice. And
Yep.
So.
I think we never go out for dinner normally, so I think this is a chance because we don't have kids with us that we could just kind of do it. And we
just
can
go all out and go to Victoria and Albert. So.
Oh no! No, I don't think I own a suit that fits anymore that allows me to get in there anyway. So I think that's a terrible idea for my waistline anyway. The only other thing that I want to consider is just escaped me, but I got to figure out. Sorry, I got to figure out the dining, figure that out. And then figure out, the parks type of thing. But again, we're not doing any lightning lanes. We're not doing any multi-passes or anything else like that, unless it's like the last minute. We didn't get to go on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you do the
hop on that or something.
Single pass or something like that, it's not a big deal. But
yeah, so that's not a big deal. I know I'm forgetting one thing, and it's really irritating me. It popped in when I was running my mouth about something else, and here I am. I can hear myself think. But other than that, we're excited and looking forward to staying at a deluxe resort and kind of crossing that one off the list. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was going to say was just don't feel like you have to have so much dining outside. Like, just make sure you have time for hanging out at Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's a cool place to just.
We're definitely doing that the first day because we don't have park tickets for the first day, right? So we're going to do our exploring. We're definitely going to do like Animal Kingdom in the morning and go back and hang at the pool and kind of chill there. But I think for us, maximum pool chill time is like 2 hours, right? Like I don't think we're going beyond that, especially in November, where it's just like, okay, we're getting kind of antsy. What do you want to do? So I think that'll be the time we go say, what park do you want to go to next? That type of thing. If we don't have any extra dining that we're setting aside, but other than that, I'm looking forward. I'm getting excited. It doesn't feel like we're going yet. Because I haven't paid for it yet, so it hasn't hit the credit card. Oh, here's one question I have for you. Have you ever? I know you have a Visa Chase card, right? And you get the Disney points for it. Can you apply those? We have points accumulated from our last trip. Can you just use those to pay off the deposits and stuff like that right off the bat, or do you have to use them for specific packages or something?
No, you just transfer them to a Disney gift card, and anything you can use a gift card for, you use it towards.
Maybe we'll do that for dining then. Perfect. Anything else you want to add to this show, Phil? We're at 40 minutes. I thought this was going to be a short show, but this is a medium.
Well, that is pretty short.
Yes, it is. We're about 15 minutes.
No, I think it's good. I think like we talked about, there's a little light on news, but hopefully more things will come out, and we'll be exciting and gearing up for things. And I think the Halloween parties are in full swing. And then
that's what I wanted to say. Yeah. Parties. We're going in the 7-day space between the Not So Scary and Very Merry Christmas party. Mm-hmm. So as much as I said, like, I never want to go during party season again, we're going down the exact time where there is no party on the back half of the year.
That's good.
So I'm looking forward to that. I'm grateful for that. Even though my wife's like, is there any parties going on? Can we pay for them? My wife just wants to spend all the money now that she doesn't have to buy tickets for 3 other kids. So
yeah, I mean, that would be the time to do it. But yeah, if there's none going on, there's none going on. It would have been a perfect Jollywood one if that was.
That's what we wanted to do. That's what we wanted to do. But we're not going to see the ice skating or whatever that they're going to throw in there. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for watching and listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, leave a comment below. It helps us out if you're watching on YouTube. That being said, we'll see you in, I don't know, like 5 days on another probably short show, because I don't think anything major is happening between now and the next time that we normally record. But we appreciate your viewership, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.